Unit 731. This is a true story, and it is one of the most disturbing in human history. In 1936, the Japanese army constructed a facility in the frozen, fog-covered plains outside Harbin, China. From the outside, it looked like a hospital and research station. It was called the Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department. But inside, behind those walls, behind 150 buildings, ringed by electric fences and patrolled by armed guards, something else entirely was taking place. This was Unit 731. It was led by Lieutenant General Ishii, a microbiologist and military officer, a man described by colleagues as brilliant and charming. He had traveled to Europe and the United States to study medicine. He had the most gruesome ambitions. He called his human subjects marutas, the Japanese word for logs. They weren't patients or prisoners of war. They were materials. Most of the subjects were Chinese civilians and soldiers. Some were Russian, others Korean, men, women, and children. At any given time, the facility could hold up to 600 prisoners, cycling through experiments before being cremated in the facility's incinerators. Historian Dr. Sheldon Harris estimated that at least 10,000 to 12,000 people died within Unit 731's walls alone. One physiologist was fascinated by frostbite. He wanted to understand, scientifically, exactly how long it took for human tissue to freeze, and what methods were most effective for rewarming it. So he brought prisoners into freezing rooms or submerged their arms and legs in ice water baths, holding them there until the limb was frozen solid. An eyewitness later testified that when the frozen limb was struck with a cane, it made the sound of a plank of wood. Then came the rewarming experiments. Hot water, open flame, nothing at all, to see how long the body could thaw itself. Other researchers pursued plague. They bred fleas in sterile containers and fed them on infected blood. They placed dying, disease-ridden prisoners in cells with healthy ones to time the transmission of illness. In October 1940, Japanese aircraft flew over a Chinese city and dropped ceramic canisters. Each canister held approximately 30,000 infected fleas. Witnesses on the ground recall a fine reddish dust drifting down from the sky, followed by strange bites that left welts on nearly every surface of their skin. Within weeks, plague had erupted through the city and nearby areas. Records confirm that over 2,000 civilians died from that single attack. Other biological strikes, using anthrax, killed an estimated 6,000 more. The prisoners who survived one experiment rarely survived the next. There were no known survivors of the full experimental program. Those who did not die from infection were killed afterward, often through vivisection, performed without anesthesia, so their organs could be studied fresh. Researchers noted the exact time and progression. Everything was documented and filed. When the war turned and Japan's defeat became inevitable in the summer of 1945, Shiro Ishii gave the order to destroy it all. Buildings were blown up. Documents were burned. The remaining prisoners, those still alive, were killed. Unit 731 officially ceased to exist on August 15, 1945, the day Japan surrendered. But here is where history takes its second, equally disturbing turn. American investigators arrived in occupied Japan within weeks. They uncovered the truth about Unit 731, and then they made a deal. In exchange for immunity from prosecution, Ishii and his top researchers agreed to hand over all of their data, all of their findings, all of the knowledge, at the cost of thousands of human lives. The United States government, in the shadow of the early Cold War, decided that the science was worth more than the justice. Shiro Ishii died in 1959, a free man. Many of his colleagues went on to lead distinguished careers as heads of medical schools, pharmaceutical companies, and public health institutions in post-war Japan. For 40 years, the Japanese government denied that any of it had happened. It wasn't until 2002, over half a century later, that a Tokyo court formally acknowledged that Japan had conducted biological warfare in China. The court confirmed the attacks and the deaths. Unfortunately, Unit 731 is not a ghost story. There are no questions about whether it happened. The files, court rulings, and testimony exist. The bones of thousands of human beings are still being discovered beneath the soil. Subscribe to Illuminate Stories. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the bell to stay illuminated.